News alert, a lot of people talking about this, and it has happened. President Obama moments ago ordering the White House flags to be flown at half staff in honor of those killed in the shootings in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This after Speaker Boehner did the very same thing earlier today on Capitol Hill. Questions remained as to why the president took so long to do this. To put this into context for you, after the Washington Naval Yard and other terrible tragedies like this, it did take 5 or 6 days, but the national conversation has been hot on this at least since Saturday. So we'll talk about it here on the couch, but it has happened. And in fact, a proclamation has gone out. I'm not going to read from all of this, but just to let you know that this will happen on all public buildings, and it's happening right in the center of your screen. Let's watch it together. The flag being lowered now for the 5 servicemen who were lost in Tennessee in those shootings last week at the White House. Also, according to the proclamation, at all military posts, naval stations, and all Navy vessels of the federal government, all public buildings and grounds in the District of Columbia and throughout the United States and its territories, according to the White House press release and proclamation on this. So this has happened. Let's come out to the couch and talk about it. Andrea, you and I were talking yesterday about the national conversation that has been going on about flags in general in our country, and about the White House being lit up and so on and so forth. And in social media, you put out a tweet yesterday, and within minutes, people were responding about, why isn't the flag lowered there? Other states did it. Arkansas and Massachusetts right away joined Tennessee, their governors, in lowering the flags.
Over the weekend, people were pretty upset. And a lot of people don't know that here in New York, the Empire State Building was illuminated for Ramadan. This is just days after our Marines were gunned down because of radical Islam. We also saw that after the Supreme Court's gay marriage ruling, within hours that White House was lit up with a rainbow. Why couldn't they either light up the White House red, white, and blue, or lower these flags? And I think it speaks to a bigger issue, the tin ear of this White House. Why do they have to be pushed and shoved and twisted and have a news cycle force them into doing this? This should have been a natural reaction, but we see this every time it involves radical Islam. We waited for him, President Obama, to react about the killings in Benghazi. We waited for him to come out and talk about other scandals like the IRS. Why is it always waiting for the White House to do the right thing? I'm glad that they did it today, but this should have happened immediately, and it just speaks to a bigger problem with this White House. They don't understand the larger meaning and messaging and tone and tenor of the electorate.
All right, I do want to get this in because we work through our brain room to look at how long it has taken the White House to do this and other times, just to see what the protocol has been. 2013 Washington Navy Yard shooting, 5 days to lower the flags. Boston Marathon bombing, 5 days. Newtown shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary, 5 days. So, you know, they issue a proclamation. I don't know that this is outside the bounds of the date, but the conversation in the country was certainly different.
Well, and you certainly don't want to take away from the fact that it is now happening, and 4 Marines are dead and 1 sailor is dead. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker John Boehner, they had both called on the president to act on this. The calls have been out there. I'm looking at reaction on Twitter, and the general, if I were to give a general reaction from Twitter right now, it's about time.
Yeah, well, sorry, Josh Earnest couldn't even answer yesterday at a White House briefing what the president intended to do with the flag. So clearly, I think, to Andrea's point, they were pushed into this, and this is where I think you have this open question constantly about where this president's heart lies when it comes to combating terror, our vets, and things that mostly middle Americans care about. He seems to always be ready to throw our country under the bus, whether it's in the Arab Spring, whether it's with the Iranian deal, whether it's the Russian reset. But when it comes to things that he could clearly rally the nation around and unify this nation around, he always decides to take the divisive road, and that is very bothersome from a guy who really could have helped heal a lot of wounds in this country.
Absolutely. Look, I think that he's a really smart guy. And I don't think this was unintentional. I think there's something passive-aggressive about it. The military certainly feels that way. If you're on social media, our military already feels like he has contempt for them. You know, he's cutting their budgets. We have the lowest troop levels since World War II. I think this says a lot about him that we even have this question.
Well, as Sandra pointed out, I mean, you're looking at it happen right now in the middle of our screen, so we don't want to lose sight of the fact that the flag has been lowered. The flags have been lowered at the White House. But as we kind of put a button on this, Andrea, you know, when you look at the tone of people who were hitting back a couple days ago about this issue, it was about hurt. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it was about shame in some of them. Like, how could we let this happen? Because we have a short memory when it comes to how we treat our veterans and our military members in this country. It's been a rough and tumble number of years. We look back at the VA scandal.
That's right. Well, these are no-brainers, though. It's a no-brainer to call the family of Katie Steinle, whose father is testifying on Capitol Hill today. It's a no-brainer to lower the flag. I know it involves radical Islam, and the president doesn't want to talk about that because he doesn't want to acknowledge that we're at war with radical Islam. But this has to do with our military members. Lowering a flag is a no-brainer, and he misses these no-brainers. However, we've seen him spring into action. When there was an NBA player who decided to come out of the closet as gay, the president speed dial phoned that player. He can jump into these situations when he wants to. He chooses not to, and it makes it look much worse. Every time, he never learns his lesson, and this should have been done days ago.
And it isn't just a message to the military, by the way. This also sends a message about how we value our military for our enemies.
All right. To make it clear, they are still investigating what happened in Tennessee, but there has never been any other narrative coming out of the FBI or anyone else that they are looking at this as possible terrorism. Just to dovetail what Andrea was just saying. Let's remember the victims now. You heard Sandra say, 4 Marines, 1 sailor, victims of this horrible shooting. Flags lowered finally at the White House, and according to the proclamation, all public buildings. Stay with us.